2, you get policy enforcement much better than you could have done previously. 3, as I said, it does help cut cost, which you can then put back into some of the other innovative projects. So let me talk a little bit on strategy now. I don't want you to look at this slide, it's a little complex, don't go into the details of it. Let me explain it simply out here. We have 3 pillars. These 3 pillars are the one that you see in green, and that's all that you need to read. I know it can be a little hard to read from there. Is HP Project and Portfolio Management. What it does is, what we talked about is, look at the demand side of it. Look at which is the demand from the businesses. Let me take an example here, and I'll carry forward that example as you go along these charts. Let's talk about a car company, or a bank, or a telecom, or a manufacturing company. Let me just take one small example, that from a dealer management system you get a request that you need to change a particular configuration of the car so that it is flexible for the dealers to make a change as per customer request, which you could currently cannot be done. Right? This is a common kind of request. What is the impact of making that change? What is the effort, cost, what resources is required, etc. And whether this particular project is on priority or not, and then tracking this project for its dependencies and drawing a dependency mapping is what this particular tool is all about. Tracking it financially and looking at how much is it going to cost, what is the impact to business, what is the overrun cost if it are at all going to be, etc. is done through HP Financial Management and Analysis. And finally, once you have done that, building up architecture which is based on SOA or any of the models that you have is the kind of framework that we are talking about as far as strategy is concerned. Capturing the demand, putting it in the project framework, monitoring it, tracking it, building all the linkages, resource planning and financial planning. That's what we are talking about out here. Organizations which have done that, and I just wanted to give you in these times some numbers to look at as to the kind of benefits organizations have today got out of implementing some of these tools. If you look at organization benefits, it's like 7.8% reduction in annual IT budget savings, or 3.1% reduction in budget savings due to reduced budget overruns in the first year itself, 30% reduction in IT staff, time spent reporting project status. The second thing I want to talk about in this is, more than the numbers, is this makes you look good. This makes you look like a business, because more often than not, I've seen the reports made on PPT or Excel sheets and trying to convince the management. A management with this kind of a dashboard, with linkages to business, looking at the business outcome, clearly showing what is the impact of business on a delay or a overrun or on the financial impact on the overspend that can happen, makes you look good in front of your management. So that's a byproduct and probably a side effect that is there as well of adopting these particular technologies. Now if you look on the application side, once you have decided on these particular projects, etc., which are key to your organizations, which can drive the right business outcome, you look at the second side, which is the application. And this, again, look at those 3 pillars. First of all, tells it, does it work? Okay? Does it work for the given task that was in hand? Does it work basis the requirements which were captured in the previous stage? Number 2, does it perform for me? Does my 30 users, 300 users, 3000 users can perform and test it and measure it, stuff like that? And the last is, once I do this application, can I build it up securely to ensure that it is a secured application? Those are the 3 testing areas which are there in the domain here, and organizations which have been using this have seen the benefits of around 31% reduction in outages. People have cut down the cost of server and storage infrastructure by more than 50 to 60% by doing performance validation in each step of their performance when they're looking at an application and monitoring its performance. So there are huge savings that you can drive, which then can free up, as I said, resources for your innovation. 41% is the reduce the time necessary for problem management due to application outages. So those are the kind of benefits which organizations have seen, which can be driven from this particular tools. And lastly, once we have done that, we looked at the operation side of it. Again, look at the three pillars. First pillar is about managing those services, about monitoring those services, seeing what is your end user experience of those services that you are deploying, seeing what is the state of these things, whether there is an error reported, etc., etc. The second one is about automating it. The entire infrastructure, processes, various processes that you have to manage your IT, etc., is automated. And the third one is the management of it, which is again automated. So the economic value again is there. But let me take a small example out here. When you look at automation, I can tell you within our own company, 2 years back, when you used to get let's say a new client machine, say a laptop, it would take somewhere between 4 to 8 hours for us to set it up. Okay? And there will always be a person standing next to me who will be from IT, who will help me load all the various applications. And in HP we have about 30 or 35 odd applications that gets loaded in a laptop, on a typical laptop. Today when a laptop comes, there's no guy, there's just a phone number and a website. And all I get is a laptop with one pager saying, just insert the CD and go on. And within a period of 1.5 hours, I'm able to do all those 30 applications rightly configured for my laptop, knowing what the user is, and it's completely set up. Not only that, if I now remove something from the software, alert message can go to my manager that he has removed a security software or anti-spy or antivirus software or stuff like that. And it can monitor it on a daily basis what all activities this desktop is doing from a monitoring perspective. Now think about doing that for your network, for your storage, for your servers, the whole range. Just to give us as an example of automation, whether it's patch management and the predictability that you can drive and the policies that you can enforce. And without automation, how difficult it is to enforce a policy. I mean, do you enforce it? All you get is probably a spreadsheet with some tick marks saying manually done, done, done. And it's of course prone to error. The experience of the customer dependent on the engineer who is serving that particular customer, so on and so forth, are some of the issues which are there. Just some typical examples. Okay. Implement a software change in 2,600 servers. Before automation, after automation. Before automation 2 weeks, after automation 20 minutes. Okay. Automatic health check of servers, automate manual network tasks, provision new storage. Now these are some examples of the tasks. This could be a laundry list of a much bigger list, but I just wanted to give this as an example to showcase what are the changes that you would see in your infrastructure management when you do this. So in summary, what we are trying to say is, it is possible to be disruptive provided you are innovating and managing your cost well. Today there are enough tools and applications available which can help you to drive down those costs of the operations, of the things that you are already doing, and free up resources and cost and financials to look at some of the innovations and drive those innovations for being disruptive in the marketplace. So thank you for that. I know it was